All right, today we're diving into something pretty fascinating. It's an open source project where ancient scripture, well, it meets modern data analysis. It's called the Numerology Project, and it asks a really big question. What if there's a hidden mathematical code, a kind of harmony, embedded right inside the Quran? And believe it or not, it all kicks off with this one number. Look at that, 111111. It's kind of perfect, right? Almost hypnotic. So the big question is this just some random coincidence, a numerical fluke? Or is there something more to its perfect symmetry? So where does a number like this even come from? Is it just a neat math trick? Or could it be a breadcrumb, a clue, leading to something much, much deeper? It's that exact question that really got this whole project started. Okay, so on the surface, the math is pretty simple. You take 15,873, you multiply it by 7, and bam, you get 111,111. But honestly, the calculation isn't the interesting part. The real mystery is why those two specific numbers are so important. And here it is. This is the big connection. The folks behind this project discovered that this exact mathematical pattern seems to be linked to one specific verse in the Quran, QS 1587. And this, right here, is where a simple math problem turns into a fascinating investigation. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with that hidden pattern. Then I'll show you how you can actually join the project. We'll talk about what contributing looks like, dive into their huge goal of creating 7 books, and wrap up by looking at how this all might connect the Quran, computer code, and even the cosmos. All right, so let's dive into that first part, the hidden mathematical pattern. And it all goes back to that verse, QS 1587. Why? Because it specifically mentions the number 7. For the researchers, this was the first huge clue. Okay, so the verse talks about 7 of the oft-repeated, or in Arabic, sab'an min al-mathani. Now, that word mathani is key. It implies things that are repeated, things that have layers of meaning. And the core idea of this project is, what if that's not just a poetic idea? What if it's also a mathematical one, pointing to exactly the kind of repeating, cyclical pattern we just saw with that number? Now, what's really cool about this is that it's not some stuffy academic study locked away in a university. Nope. This is a totally open source project. It's all about collaboration, and they've made it super, super easy for anyone who's curious to jump in and get involved. So how do you join? It's as simple as 1, 2, 3. Seriously. Step 1? You just visit their project page on GitHub. Step 2, you figure out how you'd like to chip in. And step 3, you start contributing your ideas, your analysis, whatever you've got. And I know what some of you might be thinking. Oh, I'm not a coder or I'm not a religious scholar, but that's the thing. This project is designed for everybody. Let's break down what contributing actually looks like, because it's probably not what you think. There are a few really easy ways to get involved. You could just report an issue on their GitHub page. That's basically just suggesting a new idea or a pattern you think they should look into. If you are a coder, you can submit what's called a pull request with some code or analysis. Or, honestly, you can just hop into the discussion forums and brainstorm with everyone else. The main takeaway here is that the project's real power comes from all the different people involved. It doesn't matter if you're a student, a pro researcher, or just someone who finds this stuff fascinating. Your perspective is what they're looking for. A simple thought-provoking question is just as valuable as a complex piece of code. So, what's the end game here? Where is all this collaboration headed? Well, the goal is pretty huge. They're aiming to publish a 7-book series that they're calling the Books of Harmony. And when I say the scope is huge, I mean it. Book 1 starts with the basics of these number harmonies. Then it just keeps expanding, exploring cosmic connections, ideas like munasaba, which is all about how different chapters of the Quran connect thematically. From there, it gets into advanced patterns, links to modern science, and the whole thing entered this grand synthesis of the Quran and the universe. It's a lot. Just to give you a taste, let's look at Book 1. It brings us right back to where this whole conversation started. It's all about digging into that really cool cyclical pattern of the number 7 that comes from that one verse, 1587. This chart lays out the whole beautiful cycle. So you start with that first number, 15,873. Multiply by 7, and you get our famous 111,111. But wait, it's not over. Multiply that by 7 again, and you land on 777,777. The whole sequence is framed by the number 7.
It's this kind of elegant, self-contained mathematical poetry that the project is all about finding.
But let's be clear, this project is aiming for something way bigger than just finding neat number tricks. The ultimate kind of mind-blowing goal is to see if these patterns in the text actually echo the structure of the universe itself. Take, for example, the Quran's mention of 7 heavens. The project puts that idea side by side with modern scientific theories about a multi-layered or maybe even multi-dimensional universe. And they're asking a really profound question. What if these two different ways of looking at the world are actually describing the same fundamental structure? And that right there is the heart of the whole mission. It's this incredible quest to see if there's a deep, hidden harmony, a single beautiful rhythm that connects the structure of the Quran, the universal language of math, and the very fabric of the cosmos. Now, it's so important to remember, this is all a journey of discovery. Nobody's claiming they found some final absolute proof. Instead, it just leaves us with this really compelling thought. If one single verse can hide a pattern this elegant, just imagine, what other harmonies are still out there, lying just beneath the surface, waiting for a community of curious minds to find them.